Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad to be back here with you for more stories. Thank you for joining in. I hope that you had a beautiful spring break. If you're like me in Oakland and your spring break is ending today, or indeed if you're starting your spring break, we wish you enjoyment. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. I've had a wonderful week off, and I hope that you did too. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope that the one story that we had last week, which was Angela Darton and Daria People's new book, Show the World. I hope you enjoyed that one. And of course, I hope it is one that you go back to many times, and of course, find it where you find books. Thank you for being here. This week, we're reading all 5 books coming to you from SCHIFFER Kids, SCHIFFER Publishing. A big thank you to them for allowing us to share books here on Storytime. And before, we've read Tiny Giant, which has come from SCHIFFER Kids as well. But we do have an amazing lineup coming up this week, and I am excited for that. And of course, this week, today, we start off with Do Penguins Have Pediatricians? What do you think? This one is by Patrick O'Donnell and illustrations by ERIK. And of course, like mentioned, we're reading this one with permission of SCHIFFER Kids. Thank you so much for joining in today. Glad to be back with you on Storytime, and welcome. As always, let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you today. Thank you for being here. Glad you're able to join us. And of course, if you're joining us for the recording, please still leave the message below. Let us know you were here so we could definitely say hi to you. And of course, just know who is joining in for story time. And if you're here live, well, we'll be saying good morning to you very, very soon. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome back to story time after a week off. Of course, sending you hugs and love. Missed you all. And as you can see from my t-shirt, Right for a Reason is coming up. Oh, you amazing people have helped raise over $5,000. It is just incredible. I am in amazement, and I just want to say thank you to all of you for sharing, for spreading the word, and indeed for all the moral support as well. Thank you so much for joining in. But remember too that contributions will still be received, so please keep sharing with friends, keep donating if you can for Ride for a Reason. That is helping raise money for schools here in Oakland, as well as Alameda, the city next door. And of course, those schools include my own school, Emerson Elementary. So please help support. Thank you for joining in Storytime today. Good to have you here. But the question we're asking today, the big question is, do penguins have pediatricians? What do you think? And lots of other questions too in this book that we will be thinking about. And then a little bit of facts at the end of the book that we're going to dive into and enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning to you and welcome. Right for a Reason happening on the 23rd of April. I'm excited for that one, and it is coming up very shortly. And this one not only helps raise funds, but it also helps raise awareness of how underfunded public schools are, and we go to the Capitol in Sacramento to raise that awareness, to keep drumming that message so our leaders can hear us, so those responsible, those that make the decisions can hear us. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Always a pleasure, and indeed always a pleasure to learn from each other and to be here and be in community. Absolutely love it. All right, let us see who is with us this morning and joining us. Good morning to you, Jessica. How are you doing? Ali Amin, we've missed you here on Storytime Live. Hopefully you've been able to catch us with the recordings, but good to have you here. Thank you for joining us out in Washington. And talking about Washington, today Oakland does feel like Washington. We have rain. It is gray out. So yes, I hope that you are having sunshine instead. Maybe you've taken our sunshine today. Ali Amin, give us back our sunshine in Oakland. Thank you so much for joining in. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. Good to see you back here, Ali Amin, and of course, Jessica. Thank you for joining us out in Washington. Good morning to you, Amanda Waltman. How are you doing? Good to see you here on Storytime. And you say good morning to all. Thank you so much. And of course to all the Storytime friends as well. Absolutely love it. They hear you loud and clear. We've missed you all. Yes, indeed. I have absolutely missed each one of you. Thank you for joining in. Bia, early bird, how are you doing today? Good morning to you. And you send big hugs to everybody. Well, thank you so much. Hugs right back at you as well. Thank you for joining us. Good morning to you, baby Bia and Amanda. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to say baby Bia anymore. Growing up too fast. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Glad you're here. Good morning to you out in Washington. How is Washington today? Thank you for joining in. Good morning to you. How are you doing, Sarah and Nathan in stormy and dark and gray Illinois? Oh my goodness, that's what I should have said. That's what I meant to say about Oakland. Your description is spot on as always. Thank you so much for joining in. It's the perfect Storytime weather here. We are so happy to see you back and hope your spring break was so much fun. Well, it was absolutely wonderful. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. And indeed, I did enjoy myself. Lots of great things happening, and also just time to relax and enjoy. Thank you. And of course, Reboot to be here on Storytime. Got to look at so many different books that we will be bringing to Storytime. We've already brought so much, but there's so much more, so many new books that will be coming, including the 5 that we have this week. All of them are brand new to Storytime. So keep your ears out, keep your eyes open, and there will be more coming to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you one more time. Absolutely missed you, Amanda, and of course, Sarah and Nathan. Good morning out in Illinois. Let me say that one more time. Stormy and dark and gray Illinois. Well, thank you for joining us today. Hopefully together we can create that spark and create that sunshine that is needed right now. Thank you so much for joining in. Absolutely appreciate you. Good morning to you, Chris Mitchell Adams. And of course, Bolden. Oh, you're in sunny Vermont. So jealous. Thank you so much for joining in. And you say you both have a cold but are grateful for Storytime and sunny skies. Well, we wish you well. Please heal up quickly. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And indeed, hopefully this reading together helps you feel better. Thank you so much for joining in. Glad you're here. Feel better. Oh, sending you hugs, and love indeed. Thank you so much for joining in on Storytime. Good morning to you, Linda Jones. How are you? Good to see you here on Storytime. And of course, thank you for your support for Right for a Reason. Good to see you here on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you and all the work that you do for our kids. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Good to see you right here on Storytime Live. Thank you so much. Good morning to you, Linda Jones. Thank you so much for joining us. Sheba Chanda, how are you doing all the way out in Lusaka, Zambia? Thank you so much for joining in. Good to see you here. How are you? And of course, Benjamin, we do not forget you. How how are you doing too out there in Lusaka, Zambia? Hopefully it is nice weather right now in April, and of course fresh maize all over the place. I hope that you're enjoying that indeed. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Who's ready for a story? Yes, I have missed reading together, so let's get into it after this short break. Thank you so much for being here, and absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. Join me on the other side of this.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Davis. I'm a children's book author, illustrator, and high school art educator. I am the author of 30,000 Stitches, the inspiring story of the National 9/11 flag, illustrated by Sally Warren Comport and published with Worthy Kids # book group. One thing that drew me to writing 30,000 Stitches was the idea that people from all different communities came out to stitch this flag and make it whole again. So I hope that when people read 30,000 Stitches, they remember the power of sharing our stories. When people came out to stitch flag, they shared their stories, whether about loss or pain or love. We all have stories to tell, and by sharing our stories and listening to one another's stories, we can create a better understanding of each other and create a sense of connection and unity. And this is what creates a more inclusive world. I hope you enjoy your story time with Mr. Lamada. Bye, everybody.
Oh, thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you. An inclusive world is what we're all about here on Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, I hope that you're ready for a wonderful story. Get comfortable, get cozy. And indeed, we do have a beautiful story to read together. This one is called Do Penguins Have Pediatricians? Oh my goodness, that word. Who can tell me? What does it mean? Pediatricians. Oh my goodness. This one is by Patrick O'Donnell and illustrations by ERIK MEHLEN. And as we said, we're reading all books this week coming to you from SCHIFFER Kids. A big thank you to them for allowing us to read such amazing books here on Storytime. And of course, you might remember the Tiny Giant that we've read before that came from SCHIFFER Kids as well. All right, here we go. Oh, lots of animals in there. What types of animals do you see? Does it give you an idea of what kind of animals we'll be talking about? Uh-huh. What do you see? Oh, all right. Do penguins have pediatricians? This one is written by Patrick O'Donnell, illustrated by ERIK MEHLEN, and we're reading it with permission of SCHIFFER Kids. Do penguins have pediatricians? Who is a pediatrician? What do you think? Huh? Oh. If you have an answer, type it in the comments and we'll share it at the end. Do Arctic foxes get flu shots? What do you think? Do penguins have pediatricians? Do Arctic foxes get flu shots? Great questions. What do you think, kids? What other questions do we have? Well, has a beluga whale ever had bronchitis? What do you think? Has it ever had bronchitis with a cough that just won't stop? I wonder too. How about, do polar bears suffer from pink eye? Ever? What do you think? What of a caribou? Can it catch chicken pox? Oh, whoa. What do you think? Do sea otters get sinusitis? What do you think? Do they? And do they use up tissues by the box? wonder, what do you think? I wonder too. Do walruses get toothaches? So many great questions in here. Maybe we can all research and come back and share. Can snowy owls come down with strep throat? Oh my. What do you think? Did a penguin ever catch pneumonia? Did a penguin ever catch pneumonia because it didn't zip up its coat? What do you think? Hope not. Has a narwhal ever had a tummy ache? Can lemons break their bones? Oh my, so many great questions about all these Arctic animals. What do you think? Has a narwhal ever had a tummy ache? What could give a narwhal a tummy ache? Great questions. Do harp seals ever get fevers and need to stay at home? Does that ever happen? Do harp seals ever get fevers and need to stay at home? What do you think? So many great questions. Do reindeer break out in rashes? What do you think? Can a wolverine catch a cold? Oh my goodness. I would love to know all answers to all of that. Do reindeer break out in rashes? Can a wolverine catch a cold? Does a moose go in for a well check? Does a moose go in for a well check when it turns 5 years old? Does it go in every year? Do you go in for a well check? I hope you do. Those are important, aren't they? The last time I saw the doctor, she said, your questions are really great. They are great questions indeed. And this is how she answered while the nurse checked my heart and weighed. What was that? What were the answers? What happened when you last visited the doctor? What did they say? Did they say your questions were great, just like they did with little penguin? Well, let's listen to how this doctor answered while the nurse checked penguin's weight and height. Any animal can get sick, whether it's wild or it's a pet. Any animal can get sick, whether it is wild or it's a pet. But animals don't have pediatricians. I bet you knew this already, didn't you? Their doctors are called, exactly, vets. Animal doctors are called veterinarians, vets. Whoa. How about pediatricians? Let's come back to that one. Who are these doctors for? Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, and that is the end of that doctor's visit. But you know what? We have a few facts on the back, and I'm just going to read 2 for us. So please stick around and let's read together. Let's start with the penguins. Penguin. These birds look like they're dressed in tuxedos for a fancy dance. Don't expect them to bust a move on land or in the air, though. They are graceful in the water, but can't fly. And their walk is a waddle. There are 17 types of penguins. Some like the cold. Others live near a desert. And some live in rainforests. Penguins eat fish. How about that? Let's jump down and read about the caribou. I thought that one was fascinating too. Caribou. These huge deer live in the Arctic areas of the tundra, a place where snow and cold temperatures keep most trees from growing. Caribou eat plants. In the winter, they eat lichen, a type of plant that grows on trees and rocks and is part fungus and part algae. They migrate or travel very long distances to find food. Some can walk up to as much as 3,000 miles in a year. 3,000 miles in a year. That would be the same as you walking all the way from the mainland USA, from here in California, all the way out to the East Coast. Or that could be walking all the way up from the Canadian border, all the way down south and back up again. Just something to think about. And there's lots of other facts. So if you can find this book, enjoy it and get to read all those. And of course, to share them with your friends. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed that wonderful book that we had. This one is called Do Penguins Have Pediatricians? And this one was coming to you from SCHIFFER Kids. And it is written by Patrick O'Donnell and illustrations by ERIK MEHLEN. Thank you so much for joining in today. I am glad we were here enjoying this wonderful book. Lots of questions to think about, right? Lots and lots to think about. I hope that they helped you wake you up and, of course, make you think as we go into this day. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you absolutely enjoyed that one. I know I did, and I hope that you also join us for more story time tomorrow as well. Thank you so much for being here. This has been story time for today, and this one is called Do Penguins Have Pediatricians? Do penguins have doctors for kids? Thank you so much for joining in today. Absolutely appreciate you. But remember that story time is back again tomorrow, 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific time, and it is new stories, brand new stories to story time this entire week, and also stories coming to you from SCHIFFER Kids. And tomorrow we bring this amazing book, I Am Odd, I Am New. And this one is written by Benjamin Giroux and illustrations by Ross McLean. And they are indeed a powerful team, powerful book. This one, Benjamin was in 5th grade when this poem was written. And of course, now it is this wonderful book. Do join in. It is a book of belonging, a book of love, and a little bit of a glimpse into understanding how it is living with autism. And remember, too, that April is Autism Awareness Month. So, of course, this book is coming to you, and we just want to share that. And of course, every month, every day, we should be learning and hoping that we are continuing to learn and accept, and also the more we know, the more we understand, the better allies we can be to our friends living with autism, and of course to everybody else. So please join in tomorrow and enjoy this wonderful book that we'll be reading. I Am Odd, I Am New. This one coming to you from Benjamin Giroux and Ross McLean. And of course, it is published by SCHIFFER Kids. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. I know we've mentioned a few sniffles here in the group today. I hope that you feel better. We're sending you love, 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 and hopefully you feel good again very, very soon. Bolden, thinking of you, of course. Thank you so much for joining in. Chrissy as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Story time. Thank you for being here and absolutely appreciate you. Thank you, everybody that joined in today, and I hope that you enjoy that one indeed. Amanda Wortman, thank you for joining in with Ellie Riser, Baby Bia. Thank you so much for joining in, and to say thanks for this cute book to start our Monday. Well, you're very welcome. I appreciate you too. Thank you, absolutely. Let us read together. No better way to start our day, and we need some energy this morning. Well, sending you love. Absolutely appreciate you, Amanda. Absolutely appreciate it. Thank you. Good morning to you, Tomaida Zulu, all the way out in Lusaka, Zambia. Thank you for joining us. Absolutely appreciate you, and I hope that the crew is well. Thank you for being here. Please remind me, everybody that is joining in story time today. Absolutely appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the book that we read today, and of course, all those new terms too that we were learning, if any, and also some of those fun facts about caribou as well as penguins. What did you know? What did you learn? Thank you so much for being here. But please do join us tomorrow for another amazing book. I am odd, I am new. This one coming to you tomorrow from SCHIFFER Kids, and of course Benjamin Giroux and Roz McLean. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Chrissy, you say such a timely book. Thank you for this great story. Absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for your great community here, Chrissy Mitchell Adams, and of course Bolden. Appreciate you all and everybody that was joining in. One more time, thank you to everybody. I see you, Jessica Ali Amin. Thank you for joining us out in Washington. Appreciate you, Amanda. One more time, and of course, baby Bia, sending you love and hugs, and thank you for being here on Storytime with us as always. Appreciate you. Good morning to you one more time, Nathan and Sarah, and of course Amanda, and you're saying it is in stormy, dark, and gray out there in Illinois. I hope that you are well. I hope that that story indeed warms your heart, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow and indeed sending you love today. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. To everybody that was here, absolutely appreciate you. Linda Jones, thank you so much for being here. Absolutely appreciate you. Cheba Chanda, good to see you back here on Storytime, and Benjamin as well, sending you love. Thank you to everybody that joined in. Tomaida Zulu as well, not forgetting you. Thank you for being here. I hope that everybody has a lovely, lovely day, a lovely start to your week. It has been a wonderful week of rest this last week for me, spring break, and we're back today, back in full swing. 6 weeks of school left out here in Oakland, so I don't know how it is where you are. I hope that you enjoy this final stretch of the school year, and indeed I hope that you continue to build friendships, continue to read, continue to enjoy life. Thank you for being here on Storytime, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a wonderful time. Much love from me, and I'll be back again tomorrow for more Storytime. And remember too that Right for a Reason is happening April 23rd. We're riding from Oakland to Sacramento. Yes, helping raise awareness for public education funding, and of course helping raise funds while we do that. Thank you to everybody that has donated. Thank you to everybody that keeps supporting us. Thank you to everybody that has shared and reshared all our posts related to that. Thank you so much. You make the difference. You've made this project possible. Thank you so much for being here. Much love from me. I will see you again tomorrow for more story time. Bye-bye.
It brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some with people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories, some with people who look like me, others very different from the way that I look and think. Read me all of your stories. Read me all of your stories, some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Ooh. Story time. Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be